Yeah, my voice does not sound like it sounds in my head.
No, that's a pretty common trend there.
I'm quite whiny, aren't I? Mate, should I change my voice?
Yeah, you should. You should work on that voice.
Can you adjust it in post?
Yeah, maybe I can get like a voice changer for him or something.
Let's change this in post, boys.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Nice. Very nice. Front and back. Leader's garment. Quite happy.
It's alright, isn't it? Looks pretty good in that bad boy.
Excellent, I think the word you're looking for is. Look at that thing. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Beautiful.
Now, only if you're ready for this.
Welcome back to the OTB podcast. We are here live in the Candela studio. Beautiful space, really set up for the sound. Lester's dialing in remotely from his home in the Waikato. Lester, how are you, mate?
The mighty moot. Yeah, I'm good, man. Good. Yep. No,
We were supposed to have Cam Cole dialing in from Andorra, but he's had some internet issues, so he hasn't been able to make it. Unfortunately, we thought we'd have some great insights from Lenzerheide, and this is just par for the course for this shitty podcast, really.
Again.
It's just almost another left on scene situation, but that's all right. We're back. Big news: we still have a sponsor this week. Troy Lee Designs is still on board, so if you want to get yourself a deal on some Troy Lee Designs mountain bike or motocross clothing, go to troyleedesigns.co.nz, type in OTB podcast or one word at checkout for a 15% discount. No minimum spend required, and you get free shipping on any orders over $100. Only valid for our 10 or so New Zealand listeners, unfortunately. But if all 10 of you guys could go and place an order, that'd be great. Valid through until midnight on the 20th. Unfortunately, we've not been approached by either Athletic Greens or Manscaped as yet, but I'll keep checking the emails because I'm sure those ones will come in soon. So hopefully we'll get you guys a discount code.
Just a question on the Troy Lee sponsorship. Firstly, thanks to the one person who made an order. I assume it was huge.
I hope so.
That was you, wasn't it, KB?
Yeah. I just put in my own order just to make it look good, and I addressed it to someone else.
Red Dog, the least you could have done is do one yourself as well.
Well, I probably will. I do need some knee pads. No, my question was around like sponsorships generally both ways. So how big is KB's house that Troy Lee's paying for?
Yeah.
Not that big. My kids share a room.
I just figured he was staying with you because he's getting the extra wing added at the moment.
Yeah, he did turn up on like a Tesla, and he's got a lot of gold on.
He is wearing a shirt by the look of it.
The
motherfucker has a collared shirt on.
I was wondering if it was a skivvy there for a minute, but not quite.
Nah, it's just a sweatshirt. Just a sweatshirt. Just another fisherman, but not sponsored. Just a fan.
All right.
Just a fan of them.
If you want to jump on whoever makes KB's jersey.
Just another fisherman. Come on board. Big fan. I even go fishing sometimes. So, yeah, we'd happily take that on. Yeah, go spend some money. Buy some Troy Lee kit. Look good. Be like 2015 BC champ James Rennie. Was it 2015?
Yeah, it was 2015.
BC Enduro champ.
The provincial title, yeah.
Yeah, he won that wearing Troy Lee, as you may have seen on our Instagram story. God, he looked good doing it too, didn't he?
Right. Pretty youthful, actually. What's happened since then?
Yeah. Age.
Kids. Everything's headed south.
Actually, I'd say the pinnacle of my career was when I got a ride with Kona. Thanks, Caleb. And he hooked up a deal with Stick at TLD, and Stick just said, he sent me a catalogue and said, just tick whatever you want.
Did you just circle the front cover?
I should have. God, I should have. I still run the helmet that I got for free. Oh, it was a good time.
It's free. It's for me.
Story of my life. Speaking
That
of
is
free,
great.
I'm just dual screening here. And last pod we had a fair bit to say about Crankworks. Crankworks Rotorua has just got another $5 million funding boost.
Really?
Whoa,
The
boy.
boost is part of a larger $8.1 million package across 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Is that government funded or
That's
local?
crazy. Part of the government's major events fund.
Yeah, I thought so because I think they started getting some of that last year for the 2021 edition, which turned into a no spectators event. But yeah, I remember hearing about that as a big part of the government initiative to boost up some of these events. So
Here's
that's great.
another interesting thing there. Crankworks Rotorua will receive $1 million this year, $700,000 next year, $1 million in 2024, $800,000 each year from 2025 to 2027. The South Island Summer Series event will receive $750,000 each year.
Wow.
Tell me what they're going to spend that kind of money on. There best be some big old prize money in there. Like that's pretty. That's crazy.
Does Crankworks need a podcast?
Yeah,
maybe we can go up there under as media.
Surely we can
go do some live shows.
Well, you'll be there working.
Live shows.
Come on, let's be honest. You'll be there working. You'll be selling e-bikes.
We won't be working at Crankworks Rotorua this year. We're going to Cairns instead.
Oh,
and so is the OTB podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's our budget?
Yeah.
If you're paying, we're saying
that's a great option. I might, I know some of the guys that are involved in Crankworks, so we could maybe get some of that media cash, and we'll do some live podcasts from on the scene, daily reports.
When is that? I better not say too many nasty things about them. Then, when is it's October over there? I think.
Cairns is October, and then Rotorua is November.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you haven't listened to the last episode, don't, because we love Crankworks and we think it's going to be great. So
especially in Cairns.
The OTB podcast endorses Crankworks
100.
as long as there's luxury accommodation in Cairns, all expenses paid.
Including
speaking of Crankworks and just something I picked up on. I saw a rumor that there's only going to be 30 riders in finals for World Cups next year. That's one of the rumors floating around with Discovery taking it over from UCI,
so they can
from
fit
the whole changeover.
So they can fit into an hour broadcast.
Yeah, so that's just that's kind of a rumor floating around that I've heard, and I was hoping Cam was going to be on here to maybe see if there was anything else, but I'd had a message from an unspecified Kiwi elite rider, and one of the things.
What's his name rhyme with?
I'm not rhyming. I'm not going to blow him out.
Was it Schmitty Schmasters?
No, it wasn't Schmitty Schmasters. He would have left us on scene. May or may not be his teammate, but he said they said that it's probably going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Like there's
sorry.
Yeah, a lot of not unhappiness, but it sounds like there's a lot of stuff flying around currently in the World Cup, and no one really knowing what's going on.
Yeah, so I mean, from what I've deduced from internet land over the week, the riders seem to be getting together to form a bit of a union of sorts, or a group to discuss this kind of thing, and then which will be interesting because that obviously means that there's a bit of unhappy undertones. But you think back to the days of Freecaster, and when they were moving out of Freecaster, everyone was all doom and gloom. Oh, Red Bull's going to come in, it's going to get ruined, and blah blah blah. From my very checkered memory, maybe the first year was a bit patchy, but then after that, it was pretty legit, and it seems to have just gotten better and better every year.
I think that was just although on that side, I think that was kind of just more of a coverage thing, whereas it sounds like there's going to be more kind of event changes,
right? Yeah,
from what I'm kind of gathering in terms of like how many people will be racing and who can actually get there and that sort of thing. So
what are you saying that comes back that would grow Crankworks. If you
Well, that's what I was
halving
going to
the
say.
elite
It's
field.
like, imagine, if this is the point where Crankworks goes hard and could really throw some, even because like the prize money is pretty decent at Crankworks, but maybe now is the point where Crankworks can really make some growth in the downhill kind of sector of things and throw more money at it and build a really big series out of it. Maybe Red Bull jumps in. I know Red Bull seems to be involved to a certain extent, but it could be interesting. It could make that grow a bit more. Maybe you see more guys that just don't show up to Crankworks and don't show up to World Cups and become more Crankworks kind of athletes. Which there's plenty of that going on at the moment. There's dudes who are pretty much just making a living out of 3 stops of Crankworks every year, sort of thing, or 4, whatever it is now.
Yeah,
Smokey, have you seen any Discovery footage? Like another cycling sport?
I have not recently, though. So a lot of the road stuff used to be on Discovery in the US, back when the US road scene was a bit bigger. It's not really a thing anymore, but...
like Torricali and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all gravel there now.
That's right.
It's the future.
Gravel's the future. It's the most boring thing to watch. But, yeah.
It will be interesting, though, because if the UCI, like you said, Kerry, does leave the door open for someone to sort of backfill that gap, say if they go to 30 riders or something like that, then it will be interesting to see who actually steps up. Does Crankworks kind of stay in their lane and have another, provider come in to take that tier 2 downhill race scene?
Or is this just insider trading by Big Mountain Bike or Big Enduro? And they're like, if we cut the number of downhillers, that becomes the real F1, and then everyone else just races Enduro now.
Probably. This is just like Big Pharma, but Big mountain biking. This is just another lead on from gravel racing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Does it make it more elite, do you think? Cutting it down to 30?
It definitely will, but does it then become almost, well, not unattainable, but like the cool thing used to be you could go as a Kiwi to Europe, buy a van, hopefully qualify and do some World Cups against the fastest guys in the world. Now, privateer life is pretty much, will be over just about, like, because there's no stepping stone.
Will it elevate things like the IXS Cup and things like that, though? Like we talked, I think, last show about that, and some of these guys maybe need to focus more on some of the second tier level of series rather than going and trying to just chase World Cups when they kind of don't have the experience to qualify. So maybe it elevates some of these other series to be a bit bigger because they maybe have more faster guys showing up. To be fair, from a rider's perspective, I'd be pissed because I'm like, fuck, like when it went down to 60, that makes it even harder to qualify. So that gets even more tricky. If it goes to 30, like, fuck, the top 30 guys in the world are gnarly. But then from a fan's perspective of watching from New Zealand, sometimes I could just watch the top 10 and, the top 20, 20th to 10th, sometimes you could take it or leave it because the racing really gets good when you get down into usually the last 10 guys. So you sort of like, from the outside, the visual watching online sort of thing, that probably doesn't make that much of a difference. But yeah, for the guys who are trying to race and show up to be competitive, to try and qualify in that, then yeah, they're kind of screwed. So
from a coverage perspective, you're probably right. Like I could sit down pretty comfortably and sit through an hour, probably an hour-long show if they're including like ads or whatever. I guess they build it for broadcast. But you have top 30 riders and you can sit there and be invested in the whole thing where at the moment, if you're sit there and watch the whole Elite Men's, I don't even know how long that takes because I never watch it live. But, I'm always skipping through, this guy, whatever. Yeah. And some of that's maybe because you've already heard some loose spoilers of the race or whatever. But maybe it means you're more invested in those 30 rather than spreading it across the 60.
Speaking of that, what really grinds my gears? You go into Red Bull TV and you can scroll along the bottom and you can see the rider's name so you can jump to people's runs.
Yeah.
But it shows up their fucking time as well. So you'll be like, I want to skip ahead to start watching from whoever. and then you see like, oh, they've done a 251, like, oh, they've fucked it. So I'm going to go to the next rider, and then you're like, oh, they're on a 3 minutes, so they've had a crash or something. I'm just like, don't put the times on there. Just put the rider's name. That's all I want to know. I don't know why they need to put the times on.
I didn't notice that. Is that just on like a desktop experience?
Possibly, yeah.
The worst thing is that I've seen that before, and I never even thought. I don't even think I've ever read the number, but I've seen the numbers there, and I always thought it was like the time they are through the broadcast.
No, see, it's their race time, because it'll show like Laurie Greenland like 3:01 or whatever, and you're like, oh damn it, I just saw like someone going to the hot seat on a 250, so I know that he's like 10 seconds back or whatever.
That's a rip.
But it's when you pay attention, you'll see that now, and you'll get
it's
get pissed off.
Well, it every time.
You don't get that on the Apple TV experience. You kind of just scroll and hope.
See if you can find it. Anyway, we probably should jump into Lenzerheide. We've spent 15 minutes talking about Crankworks and Discovery. Good race. Quite dry. Some new sections. I complained last show that, it was kind of didn't really change much, but they'd thrown a new section at the top, which looked pretty good. Seemed to have lots of people crashing and trying to find the right line for, during practice. But then they showed none of that new section in their coverage, so that was cool.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see what had happened up there, because like watching the broadcast, you could see that was obviously a pretty pivotal piece of track, but we didn't get to see it.
But then it blows me away that like this new bit of track is such a revelation. But from watching it, I'm like, it's just some fucking off camber. Like, have the tracks got so stale now that everyone's lost their mind about a fresh piece of track because they can't work out how to ride it? I'm like,
wow, yeah.
I don't know. Are the tracks just so cookie cutter repetitive now? Because it's just like never anything new. Can't they just cut off, like go around a couple of different trees, cut inside of a turn instead of going around a berm for once? Just tape some shit differently and add some intrigue to these tracks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting there, because I guess I've done a bunch of racing on that same track, right? And then you go back and there's a big...
It hadn't changed, really.
Yeah, so I guess they've got their lines, their braking points, their speed pretty much... You can turn up and do pretty much a blind run at a pretty good wicket, I'm sure. But then you throw a new section like that in, and there was multiple lines in it, multiple ways to it. I don't know if everyone was riding the same line by the end, by race run or not, but... and I guess
Can you imagine having to burn that sucker in, like B practice?
It was a bit weird too, I think. So that would have been.
Right. It was just grass to start with, wasn't it? It wasn't like they chipped it in.
Yeah, they just had a weed whack.
There was some good crashes in there. There's some good social media coverage going on, people's Instagram stories and stuff.
Yeah, that was unreal.
But I don't know. I just kind of. This is the one thing I really like about AWS is they generally don't go back to the same place year on year. Like it usually, most of the venues change each year, even though they might go to them kind of rotating every second year or whatever. But it's like, can we step outside some of these usual places instead of going back to the same tracks every single year?
Yeah.
But there's the counter argument to that. Like Formula One goes to the same tracks every year pretty much. Are we looking for that pinnacle, get the heritage around the course sort of thing, or is it better to mix it up? I think it's better to mix it up.
I think we're in such a different type of terrain that because everything changes all the time that we should mix it up.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, let's just say the course was exactly the same as it was last time they raced there. Would it have changed enough in terms of the surface and things like that, and rocks coming through or getting covered up, that it would be different enough that you couldn't compare times really that closely anyway?
Be
within Kui, right?
It would be pretty close still.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty close.
So maybe that's part of the intrigue is like, he did a 420 last time and now he's on a 430, they're going slower or they're going faster or whatever, so you can compare year on year, which is kind of an interesting thing. Maybe they just need to be like, okay, well, how many rounds have we got this year? 8 rounds or something? 8 rounds?
I think so.
Maybe they just need to say, well, we're just going to do, you can have 4 you got to have 4 new tracks, and you can run 4 of the same as what you've had before. And the venues could be the same, but just different tracks. Like you say, like how hard is it to tape something different?
Well, most of these places are bike parks, and they have all these different tracks. Yeah. Like, surely they can link something different up and, throw some, instead of going around this left-hand turn down here, let's cut it left like 100 metres up the track, and we'll go down through this grass section. And I don't know. It doesn't seem that hard to do, but
yeah. Maybe
I'm not
the riders just
organising or building World Cups.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, one of the only benefits of COVID was the fact that St. Anne and Fort William went away for a few years, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And then this year going back was kind of fresh again,
Yeah, definitely. St. Anne will be the same. Like, are we going there pretty soon?
Yeah. Couple of rounds time, 3 rounds.
I don't know when we last went there.
2019.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty long stint away from somewhere like St. Anne, which had like an event every year for 20 years, I think.
And they used to change it up quite a bit. Well, not quite a bit, but that used to get lines changed in that. But I think that had kind of gone a lot sort of same for a few years. But because they've got quite a bit of stuff that they can kind of mix and match. So it'll be interesting to see what some of these ones come up with. I'd like to see some races go back to like Japan and places like that. Like that old Japan World Cup looked insane. It looked so good.
That was mean.
So
I guess you as well.
Take it elsewhere.
Maybe
that'd be interesting, eh? Yeah.
Because I mean, it's the company that runs the EWS, and I mean, EWS is obviously very keen to have races just outside of Europe. So maybe that does change things up a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Round back in Rotorua.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
It'd be awesome to see a World Cup here again.
That would be sick. Yeah. But what about the racing? Any highlights out of the racing itself?
Well, I suppose we should talk about that. I mean, I guess kicking it off, we had Jenna Hastings in third. She had another solid podium there. So good result for her. She's definitely there's those 3. Is it Gracie, Jenna, and
Phoebe Gale?
Phoebe Gale definitely seem to be kind of a step above all the other girls in the juniors. So it'll be interesting to see how she kind of keeps progressing. I think she's kind of found her feet a bit more, and had like that first place qualifier at Leogang and was getting some speed up. So great result there. And then Lockie Stevens McNugget in second in junior men.
Yeah, that was sick.
More importantly, he rode practice in shorts.
Yes,
really?
He's bringing shorts back to downhill.
I did not know that. That's cool.
They're coming back. They're back. Get on to TroyLeaderDesigns.co.nz to get your shorts.
Yeah,
shorts. I see Bernard Kerr raced finals in a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, he held it.
Yeah, he held it. Yeah.
Pants in a short sleeve jersey. Yeah. Not allowed to do that in New Zealand though. Bike NZ rules state your elbows have got to be covered.
Yeah, true.
Ain't no helmet at a national round here.
That's
Lockie's second though. He was just over a second back of Jackson, I think. So I reckon he could still win a race. I'm still got that. He could still win a World Cup for the end of the season.
Yeah. By all accounts,
I wouldn't have said that until this race.
Yeah,
I've got faith.
Yeah, I reckon he's
the pace he had at the national series. I reckon he's got it. He's got the potential there.
Just hearing about what just on podcasts and wrap-up shows and whatever that I've listened to this week, Elliot Jackson, I think it was riding with him in Morzine, and he just said everyone that they were riding with, including Finn Isles, was just like, this kid is insane. He's way too fast and way too good. And obviously he's been doing a lot of riding in Morzine, but it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see where he's come from and see where he's heading. Pretty rad.
Yeah, it'll all start coming together for him. Yeah. I think he'll because he's in his last year of under 19 this year. So, I mean, I would hope that Union or someone keeps him on board as he moves into elite, because he's definitely got a lot of potential there.
Yeah, or it'll be interesting to see if somebody else picks him up. I mean, I don't know how long.
He's been. I mean, he's like, for New Zealand, he was like a step above the juniors. Like, he shouldn't have even been racing the junior class at the national series this year, because he was just dominant. Like, he was top 3 elite times most of the time. And I mean, we haven't seen anyone do that for a long time out of juniors. No, I think you'll be incorrect there. Although I did get a third overall as a junior once, so there was that.
Solid.
Hey, do you know what I was thinking the other day? We talked in an early episode about how Blinky is the all-time not World Cup, National Series winner. He
Turned out it was Hendy.
No, self-proclaimed. But I was thinking about it. Blinky is the youngest elite downhill national series winner and the oldest because he won an elite national when he was technically still a junior. Remember, he beat Fabian at Napier. Yep. That was his first national win when he was still a junior, and he won a national round this year at like age 34 or whatever he is now. I can't think of anyone that would have been older than that winning a national round.
Rankin?
Nah, he was well done by that.
Was he?
So I was like, hey, he's bookended it. He's been the youngest and the oldest.
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
Certainly the youngest. Yeah, he must be the oldest. Rankin was kind of done by that.
Nah, he was like, Rankin definitely wasn't really winning races after he was 30, I don't think. So, yeah, just a little sidebar there. Hey, did you, back to the Leergang race and talking about juniors, did you guys see Luke Meyer-Smith's crash in his qualifying run?
Leergang or Lenzerheide?
No, Lenzerheide. So, you know how there's that jump over the bridge kind of right before the finish line into the left-hander?
Yeah.
He jumps and just goes straight ahead through the turn and out through the barriers.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, like he overcooked it, didn't make the turn. I think it's on his social media and just blows out and through the banners. He's still qualified, though. He got back on his bike and got through.
Crazy.
He's still qualified?
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Well, how's Andreas Kolb coming into the finish and he gets loose, like clips his pedal on one of the pegs just before you hit onto the last finish line drop? Man, he got
that one bunny hopping.
Yeah, I think he actually hit his right hand pedal on the like other side pole.
Oh, just before that.
Yeah, and then he got loose, and man, it would have been catastrophic if he'd gone off there.
You imagine the series of events that could have happened there as you like blow your feet off and still kind of try to keep committing to it so you could get back on to make that drop, and then your front end drops off the drop or something. It could have gone so bad.
Yeah, that would have been no good.
You've got your Meyer-Smith.
Oh, was it Remy Meyer-Smith? It was the brother. It wasn't Luke Meyer-Smith. My bad. It was the younger brother.
He pretty much goes one bounce.
Yeah, he bounces then just goes out through the bounce.
True.
And he qualified still.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How about the women's race? Jess Blewett was back. She slotted into 9th. So it's a good result for her.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
Definitely a solid result.
30 seconds back or something, I think, which is not bad.
Yeah, and I mean, she's come back from, what did she break, a collarbone, I think, and so good result there. I mean, we could have had some insight from GT team coach, but he didn't make it, so no thanks to Cam Cole on that one. But the one that I was pretty excited to see back was Rachel Atherton.
Yeah.
That was cool to see her back racing. And she looked pretty good. I watched her run. Slotted into 7th, so that was pretty solid. I'm sure she was
6th. That's right.
Was it 6th? Right. Why did I have 7th?
She qualified 7th.
Okay. I think I might have looked at the qualifying results. Yeah, that's right. It was 6th because it was only just off the podium, which is fucking impressive. There must have been some girls behind her going like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's nuts, eh? I mean,
she looked like real good when you see her in like the Vital Raw footage and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, she looked good. And I was like, she'll podium.
I think the only thing she'll be like lacking is just getting that speed back, just getting comfortable at speed again. Like,
yeah, and a bit of strength probably. Like, there's not really a substitute for racing either.
Nah.
Yeah. Do you reckon that is this like the confirmation that, she's into it and she's going to push again, or are we just going to see her that once and then she'll be over it?
Well, I would assume she'll be at Andorra this weekend. You'd hope so. If she's done that here, like, sure, she feels comfortable enough to go to Andorra and have another crack at it.
Pretty impressive, because she was coming off of some serious injury and then having a baby, which is traumatic in itself, and then not doing that much riding. I mean, it does sound like she's been riding their bike park a bit, but like you say, Red Dog, there's no replacement for racing.
Yeah, I mean, having a kid, we've all got kids, that takes a toll on the mum for sure. It's like pretty cool to see her back with her little kid there in tow, and Yeah, just missing the podium.
It's pretty impressive.
It'd be like, I could definitely, if she was like, like, I'm done, like that was cool, but that was kind of all I wanted to do was get back and do it. I could be like, fair enough, but I would hope that she keeps racing, because I think like you give her next season, I reckon she could come back and she'd be battling for wins.
Oh, easy.
If she wanted to.
Yeah, I reckon easy.
I reckon so too. I reckon that's got to be her goal, right? Like, surely if she's going to come back, she wants to go back to the top.
So she was basically...
It's probably a bit of a tester, really.
What are we talking here? 20... Nah, she was like 15 seconds back.
Yeah, it was about really 15, bad. I think.
But yeah, it's around about that.
11. 15.
15.
Yeah, 15.
Do I need to calculate this with a calculator?
Which, I mean, you look at Miriam and Kenny, and like those two are dominant.
Yeah. Oh, it is crazy.
Like,
I mean, if you go back from third place, right? So 7 seconds, 6 seconds, really.
Which is only 4 seconds off getting on the podium.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that she's been punishing the gym and stuff like that. Surely not.
No.
I mean, I don't imagine she's also done nothing, but training would have been number 2 or number 3 on her list of things to do.
Yeah, and then you say 15 seconds back, but then you also look, and Cammy was 4.5 seconds back of Miriam. So it's like there was a big win margin for Miriam. So it's like that kind of reduces that amount even more. So I hope she keeps racing. Like, it'd be cool to see her back in the mix next year, because she would definitely add a good another good face to that battle. And she's like 1 win off being tied with Anne Carroll, I think, for World Cup wins. It's something like that. Right. Like, it's really tight. So I could imagine that being a little bit of motivation, like, put the effort into another season. And like, she'd be, she's the same age as me.
87.
Yeah, so she'd be, she's coming up 35. And I mean, she probably looks at Manar and being like, well, fuck, that dude's 40.
Yeah.
And like, just got a podium. So she's still got some good potential years left there if she wants to.
Yeah, that's true. For sure. I made some notes.
Miriam, though, holy shit.
Yeah.
That was
impressive.
That was a run. She's got some speed, man. That was a pretty impressive win. It was 4.5 seconds.
That was maybe the fastest I ever think she's looked.
Yeah. Yeah, she looked dialed. And then she had, was that run, she had like a big swap out and like held it together. Was it this week? Was that last round? I'm getting mixed up now.
She got pretty swapped coming into...
she had like a big step on some off-camber or something. Yeah. Like, it was this round. As when you come into some routes, they go over some routes into a right-hand turn. Yeah. And she had the big like rear entry, like the back end just stepped out on her. She just stays clipped in the whole time, gets back running and smashed it. So
yeah, she's mean.
Down to 100 points between her and Camille's got the lead by 100 points with, what have we got, like about 4 rounds to go, I guess it is.
And
so
4.
Could start getting a bit tighter between those two, because if Miriam kind of pulls it back, but those two have definitely been the dominant two this season for sure.
Valley's sort of looking less and less experienced somehow.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what are we thinking there?
She's a bit like the female Finn Isles, like all the speed, but has kind of yet to find their feet to win to kind of win or be consistently in that top 3 sort of thing. Like, I mean, Finn was obviously awesome this round, but they almost seem a bit similar on their trajectories and that side of things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, interesting. And saying that, Finn had a bit of a cracking weekend.
Yeah. Well, I think Valley will come around. I think she's just kind of needs that experience. Like, she's trying too hard, maybe. Just needs to dial it back a little bit.
Last time, like, maybe it's the pressure that she's putting on herself as well. Maybe it's best to just dial it back and just be like, right, I'm just going to finish this well instead of trying to win. But maybe that's what she tried to do. Who knows?
It's funny because you're looking at these, she's second year in elite now, and you kind of look at them thinking they've got it all figured out, but man, they're still young. She's still pretty young, it's probably still just so much mentality of I've just got to win, I just want to win sort of thing, and maybe just needs a little bit of calming. But she's definitely got the speed, so she'll come around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
how many years have you been saying that? When did she go elite? Last year.
Last year.
Right. So she's only in her second year of elite.
Yeah, okay. I'll give her that.
Yeah. She won it her first year.
Yeah, true.
So it's there. But I guess finding that fine line between crashing your brains out and still being fast enough to win.
Yeah.
When you're young, you just go as fast as possible, and if you crash, you crash.
Reminds me of a young Scarlett Hagen. She was fast as fuck, and man, she had some huge crashes because she was a bit like that. Just was so fast, but just would just push too hard, I think, sometimes, and have these huge. Well, I mean, her crashes were catastrophic. Man, she had some big injuries. But on the track, I had a question from a listener. You may or may not be familiar with him. I think he has something to do with some sort of website. Tom Bradshaw sent us in a listener question.
What's his name rhyme with?
Tom Bradshaw. Rhymes with that. Shom Schmadshaw. Yeah. So he said Eurolines like that, that cut main corners, on that right left after the bridge, shouldn't be allowed. It looks low level on camera. Discuss. Do you know the one he's talking about? They came over a bridge, and then there was a right left switchback, and everyone was going inside on it, to the point where that was just became the main line. Out in the open, probably 3/4 of the way down.
Off a bridge.
No.
Yeah.
They went over a bridge.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got no problem with it. I think the camera could have maybe been positioned a little bit better so you could kind of see it better, but I don't know. It was fine.
Well,
it's where Brooke crashed.
Yeah, where Brooke crashed, that's the one.
Yeah.
I think sections like that, you've got to make them tighter because they've all got dartfish and shit like that now, and they're doing so much filming. They know which one's the fastest line. So if you're giving the option to go inside, at least make it close with the outside.
The problem I have with the way they taped that corner, because they hadn't taped far enough down. So when you went inside, you just literally cut square across the track again.
Yeah.
Whereas if they taped it a little bit further both ways, so you still had to make a right and left turn, that would have changed the whole outcome of it. So that's probably my opinion of it. That just wasn't taped quite well enough, because it just was so obvious. You just turned right and you went straight on a 90 across the other, or perpendicular across the other track, and then you hooked a left. If you actually were still having to make the right left, but it was slowing down a lot, that would have kept things way more consistent with the outside.
Yeah, so, totally.
Should be allowed, but should just be taped better, maybe. I'm all for it.
Yeah, if you're gonna leave an option open, it can't be that obvious.
Yeah.
You've got to.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's just a bunch of track there, which is doing nothing really at the end of the day, aren't you?
Yeah.
Another. Oh, go ahead, Lester.
Oh no, I was just going on a bit of a tangent there, but you go.
We had another question. Basically, it just said Tohoto's hat ?
Yeah.
I want to deep dive here. I'd like to go to a deep dive.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who was wearing. What the? His LA hat.
Yeah. It's sort of surely there's a Mondraker hat or maybe a Troy Lee hat. Or,
the next shot of him, he's in the background. They were showing a shot of somebody in the hot seat, and he was in the background, and he had a Mondraker hat on then. So obviously, whoever's in charge was like, oh,
yeah.
Well, if you're MS Mondraker, are you pissed?
You would be, but you'd probably also be like, this is this dude's kind of first big hit out at this whole being a pro thing, and he probably didn't think about it.
Not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah.
But how did he get an LA hat on the podium or on the hot seat?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Was it a sun smart thing? I can appreciate.
He's probably just being sun smart. Well, you're a ginger, so you need to be sun smart.
Mate, I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe it was someone in the crowd was like, "Hey, put this hat on your head." Who knows?
You're getting sunburned.
Yeah, surely we can get some inside intel from someone on that.
Someone at Mondrag is, someone in the team's free, but here's this, 20 seconds of interview or whatever, prime on the TV show right as it starts, pretty much, and we don't have any logos on there. And they're probably a bit frustrated.
Do you
think LA was stoked?
Lance Armstrong?
Dr. Dre was pretty happy. Livestrong.
Yeah, no, fully. That was an interesting one. I kind of made some little notes, a couple literally, of things that stood out to me over the whole men's field. Finn Isles on the left-hander that everyone was kind of like scrubbing around. They had the camera shot was front on, where he basically bar dragged. That was insane. And actually,
nasty.
Interesting. The difference between what he did and what, say, Aaron Gwynn did was chalk and cheese. Like, it didn't even look like the same corner.
Same with Piron. Piron just jumped it out straight, out to flat.
Interestingly, Piron did that as well, and then he pedalled before the next piece, and I didn't see anyone else pedal. In fact, that was one thing in Piron's run which stood out to me was he was putting pedals in where, he would put 3 pedals where everyone else was doing 1. That his run was really impressive, I thought. I mean, his runs are always pretty impressive, but often quite ragged, and he didn't have his ragged look to him. He just looked pretty precise, but very focused and powerful.
Finn's run was good though, man. He took was it like a 2.5 second lead or something when he came through? I was sort of looking at that. I looked at it going, man, he could win this, and then I kind of started going, maybe not. Maybe he'll get pushed back. And I was surprised I was a little bit surprised he still ended up in second, to be honest. I thought he was going to get pushed back further.
I thought his run looked more dialed than I've seen him do a full run before.
He looked solid. Yeah. He just looked, he did. He looked real clean, real fast.
So what do we think's going on under the sock? Is there a Bosch motor under there on his bike?
Specialized. Probably Broser if it's not specialized.
Yeah. But interestingly, just again from what I picked up on the net, seems like he's pretty happy with that bike. But also the construction of that being pretty similar to the Atherton bike.
Super cool.
It's pretty rad. And everyone's going on about how they're obviously developing this new bike. But let's say that we're happy with the kinematic, we're happy with how the bike sits and the geometry and all that. Then do they have to then go into next round of developing the new layout for the frame or what? Or are they just,
because surely this is just like a rapid pro.
Well, yeah,
this is just a rapid prototyping style, I reckon. Surely,
100%, exactly. But I guess there's 2 ways they could go. One is they go, okay, we're going to now produce this bike out of carbon or alloy, but it's a bit stupid if you're rapid prototyping a bike out of carbon and then building it in alloy. That doesn't make sense to me. But do they then go, well, now we've got to figure out the layout for this, or does the layout not even matter on a downhill bike because you've got so much travel and all the rest of it going on?
Nah, because you still need, if the frame goes too stiff, it's going to ride like shit. So they're still going to need to build flex and everything into it.
Exactly. So then it's not really, in my thinking, not super cost effective. So maybe they're just going to go, well, we're just going to build them like the Atherton bike because we can do them really small numbers, because how many hundred full downhill bikes are they selling now? Not many.
What do you mean downhill bike? Downhill bikes aren't a big seller? What do you mean?
You can almost say downhill bike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, they used to obviously do a lot of them back in the day, but you don't see them anymore. So I don't even know if it's them. But
there's a show listener, name rhymes with Schmandicott, and him and I have a theory around race chassis. So we think that one day downhill will be at a point where it's kind of like Formula One. You can never buy that car, but companies are using it as an R&D platform, and they're going for like the pinnacle of performance. And like Nico Mullally and like what Specialized is doing, they're going to just build chassis to race. You can never buy it, and it's just for racing.
100%. So if you're going to do that,
do you think that's where we'll go?
I think it is, and I reckon that's maybe where they're heading. I mean, the UCI.
Well, maybe this is going to.
You've got to have 200. Well, I know this is in other UCI sport. You've got to have 200 minimum run of 200 or something for it to qualify.
Homologation.
Yeah. So, but 200.
I don't know if that fits. I don't know. It can't fit into downhill racing though, because Nico ain't making 200 bikes. Like
he explained it. I can't remember what the story was, but he explained it.
Did he use his works exemption rule?
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought it's kind of interesting to see where that goes. Like, do they then start building a carbon front end to develop off, or do they just go, right, we're just going to run it like this, or do they do?
That's a good point, because remember when Specialized did that bike that Gwyn first started with on Specialized, that demo that had the kind of that offset kind of shock with the single-sided tube thing, and that thing was like, I think it was too stiff, and they were having heaps of issues with that chassis on that, and they were having to they were constantly kind of like changing things on it to try and get some flex into it. And so it's a good point. But I think now these days with that sort of thing, like they use this thing called FEA analysis, which shows all the flex points and everything. Like you can literally just lay it up on a computer. Pretty much get it as good as it's going to work in the real world. And so they can take their current bike and they can see where the flex points are, and they can pretty much build stuff.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess you can build a mold before you do your layup schedule anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. And remember the last bike we saw with a giant sock over that area? Do you think this Specialized has 2 shocks in it?
Oh.
Yes.
Does it have 2 air shocks, potentially?
Maybe they've licensed 2-stage.
The future is air. But didn't Commensal do that with their latest one? Didn't they sock that thing up?
Yeah, they did. But don't blow out the joke.
To future it's still air.
Is the future just mixed wheel for downhill? Because there ain't many full 29ers in that field.
I think it depends on how tall you are. I think if you're a taller guy, then a full 29er is fine.
Ben Michelanges was on mixed wheel, wasn't he?
Benoit from accounts runs some mixed wheel.
Benoit. All right.
And he's
I'll take that. He's pretty tall.
He's back, and he's one of the tallest dudes there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I guess, I mean, I'm sure these guys have tested it, and especially Commensal, they seem to be pretty on top of the whole race program thing. I'm sure they've done, back-to-back testing and everything to kind of side. I mean, we saw Perron go back to a full 29er at Fort William.
What was he on here?
Didn't actually pay that much attention.
He must
now that I think about it.
Mullet.
So, I don't know.
I wonder. Interesting.
It'll be interesting.
But it's I mean, within one season, we've seen most of the field take it on. So, interesting.
Good question. One note I had here was Dakota Norton's run.
Yeah.
I mean, Rennie will use his very good qualifying position to, argue with me that intense works and that Gwyn could still get a podium, but I still don't see it coming.
Are you worried?
No.
Gwyn finishes 11th. The bike is obviously capable of winning or getting very close. We're going for 6. He's got a web series talking about how he's going for 6. Are we worried?
I mean, even if he does get a podium, it's only going to cost me $20 worth of beers. So.
What's the 6 beers you bought tonight? Was that payment? Early payment because you knew it was done.
I'm prepaying you for like 4 of them actually. So you should have bought the beers.
This is how this works. I see.
Yeah, this is how it works. I didn't even think about that. God damn it.
He's admitted defeat. Chris Vanderkolk, if you want, Schmanderkolk, if you don't mind just dropping those 6 beers off, I'll take payment now.
Prepaid.
But anyway.
Did you think Gwyn could get 11th though? Really?
Isn't that his second 11th this season?
No, he was a bit worse than that last time, wasn't he?
No, I think he's had 2 11ths this season.
Shows how much of a Gwyn fan I am, even though I back him.
I still like the guy, but I just don't think he's going to podium. But
I saw his run.
No,
I thought he was
Dakota
going
was-
to, but he didn't.
Dakota was looking good though.
Hell yeah.
But fuck, that was an unfortunate place to crash onto that wooden step down. Like,
Yeah.
what a shitter of a place to slide out like that.
Mm.
But it was giving me the shits watching dudes like missing that stump on the inside of the left, coming into it by like what seemed like millimeters. There was so many people just barely getting past it. It was pretty loose.
That one in the like boner log coming out of the bush, where they're like getting onto the.
They always run wide.
To there, man, they were like tire width from eating it off the side, eh?
Someone went onto the road one year, didn't they? Like a few years back.
Wasn't it?
Was it
Finn?
Finn?
I think he missed it. He went off the side.
Yeah, he went off the side of it at the start and ended up down on the road.
That's right.
Yeah, that one looks sketchy because they are coming in there hot. Like I watched Perron's run, his race run, GoPro this morning, and man, yeah, like he comes into there and they're right on the edge of it.
Mm. Yeah.
But Monado, back in third. I was I may or may not have said in a group chat this week that or last week that I didn't think he had the speed to get on the podium anymore. But what I'm actually claiming that is tough love. Because last time I said that, he went and won world champs. So every time I doubt him, he comes back and proves that he's still got it.
Does this also prove that he listens to the podcast?
Yes.
100% he's a listener.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, big fan. He's an early adopter. He's part of the early adopters network, I believe.
Are you part of the One Life crew, Kerry?
I don't think I am. No, I don't think I've made it into the inner circle.
Didn't he have like 29 of his family there or something crazy like that?
Something like that. Was that to match his wheel size?
Maybe. This is all weird conspiracies, eh?
It was a.
This is Illuminati kind of shit, right? Yeah.
What have we just uncovered?
Like he hasn't really performed all year. And
Nah.
he pulls that out.
He's been pretty good. I think
It's pretty good.
I feel like he's been pretty good at Lenzerheide in the past, but yeah, I still wasn't expecting a third. Like that was a solid run.
Yeah.
It's incredible the way that he can just keep pulling this shit out. Like he's 40 years old this year.
Is that the difference though? Like he can pull it out, but not
every weekend.
Yeah, it's probably it.
I think so. It's probably part of it.
Yeah. How many weeks is it since the last round?
4? It's been probably 4 weeks. Yeah, it was like a month between, I think.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot can change in 4 weeks. And he was only like 1 point a bit back.
Yeah, it wasn't that far back. Like he was right behind Finn.
Yeah.
So great result for the old goat. That's for sure.
Yeah, I reckon.
We had show favourite, hashtag believe in Benoit, the hashtag that we haven't actually started, but we'll keep going with it on the show anyway. On the box, another 5th place for him. So that was pretty solid from the big giant. He's just a consistent podium guy now.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Like it's incredible. He's just one of the guys that you're like, oh yeah, he got on the box again. He's stepped up so much in the last couple of years. It's been pretty good.
The same could be said for Andreas Kolb. His run was real impressive too. I thought he looked
Kolb's the ultimate sleeper.
Real good. Yeah.
Did you read my show notes? Because that's literally what it says. Kolb is the ultimate sleeper.
Yeah.
Kolb's the ultimate sleeper.
Definitely.
Rennie, last year, Red Dog here, a few times he picked Kolb as his sleeper at races. The guy that you wouldn't expect to do good, that would pull out a result. But man, that was a good result. Those Atherton bikes look good.
Yeah.
Him and Charlie Hatton, they look like they work really well.
Yeah, 5th and 7th.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You can't question the bike at that point.
A 5th, 6th, and a 7th. If you talk about Rachel
true,
as well.
Rachel as well, yeah.
No, that bike looks good. Like I was really watching Kolb's bike and his run, and it reminds, it's got a DW style link in it, and it actually reminds me of the Iron Horses when they were in their prime. Like it's just really stuck to the ground and looks real dialed. So that's pretty cool.
I think you'll find it's a 6 bar.
Is it a 6-bar now? Well,
Yeah.
No, it's
it's designed by DW.
Yeah, but it's like a 6-bar deal.
Whatever.
5-bar, 6-bar.
7
Whatever
bars.
goes up and down.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I agree though. They're looking pretty good. That team's looking pretty good. They needed something good because surely the Sponos are being like, oh, we're losing all the marquee riders are all kind of retiring.
Yeah, G and Rachel and
Yeah. Like, is G going to come back next year? I wonder. Who knows?
yeah, I don't know. He didn't have a lot of success in the last couple of seasons before this injury either. He wasn't setting the world on fire. But again, he's not someone that I'd count out. So you never know with that guy.
Did you guys would have seen Thomas Stack's whip on that lower jump? The one that everyone was scrubbing and still overshooting, and he like scrubbed the front wheel manual.
Yeah, landed on his front wheel, and then he did like a bit of a fist pump or a wave to the crowd or something.
I think he'd already balls the run up higher up, but still.
Yeah, he'd already crashed, I think.
And I mean, that was unreal how many dudes were pretty much flat bottoming that too.
Yeah. Some guys were going full, just not even touching the transition.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And clearly, I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen it. If you haven't, spoiler alert, Perron won. Pretty big win too. That 1.4 seconds, it doesn't sound like a lot. That was a solid win for him. Yeah, he was on rails, man. He just looked dialed.
His rig's dialed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite soft on the front, I reckon. I don't know, he seems sort of pitched slightly more forward or something. I don't know what it is.
I guess it's one of those things that you've kind of got to give up. Sometimes you've got to give up some support for traction, though. Because, like, if your fork's too stiff, then you start losing traction. If it's too soft, then, you start losing support. So I guess maybe he's just gone more the traction way than the, support way. He looks like a fucking beast, so I'm sure he's strong enough to hold on to it.
Yeah.
If he's going a bit deep in the travel.
Yeah, I wonder.
He looks pretty ripped.
Definitely.
Any disappointments from the weekend? Anyone that sticks out that you thought?
Oh, Laurie Greenland.
Oh, easily.
I think
easily Laurie Greenland.
Laurie's sure. The Kiwis didn't really have a great time.
Nah, Blinky got a flat. I mean, Tahoto was good in 13th. That was definitely a great result.
Sure. That's
Brooke crashed. Yeah, that was his best World Cup result so far. I think Eddie might have crashed. I think that was all of our qualifiers in the end.
Did Conor Fearon, I mean, he was 19th on that new bike they've got. He probably would have been 19th on his old bike too. That's always around about where he is, eh?
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar.
19 to
Troy Brosnan was a disappointment, actually.
He's coming back from injury, mate. We're working on it. We're getting there. We'll get
there when it's time.
There's some baiting going on there.
Kona Fearon. I mean, although not on a Kona.
Would he have been better on a Kona, though?
I reckon he would have been.
Well, he can't get his hands on one. They don't make one anymore.
Is it because their marketing manager hates downhill racing?
I think he hates a lot of things. 19th, probably slightly better than you would have done on that.
Yeah, surely. Surely he's got to be
what did
better
he get on
that
that bike at the last round, though? It was in the 20s, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can't really compare apples to apples on a totally different track, though.
No, that's true. But you also can't...
definitely a bit faster than this.
Yeah. It would have been interesting. I think he still would have been around there. He just seemed to ride that little bike pretty well. But
yeah.
What happened with Greenland?
I don't know. It just wasn't there. It just kind of looked,
Yeah. I think what's happened is Minar's taken the spotlight again.
Minar's back in the driver's seat, you reckon?
Back in the driver's seat. He's calling the shots.
Has he got the good parts on his bike?
He's got the good parts.
Laurie's been given all the last year's parts for his bike.
Yeah, the B grade.
Yeah, and I think he's suffering and he doesn't, it's visible in the results.
Maybe it was just mental. Maybe he's like, God,
26th. Yeah.
he's like, God damn it, this 40-year-old man is just putting me to the sword.
What happened to
Is the rot setting in, Lester? Is the rot setting in?
He crashed in qualifying, I think.
So maybe that was just enough
didn't
to knock him back to like take the wind out of his sails, so to speak.
Yeah, didn't have a great qualifier.
It was a weird one from Greenland because I think he's been good there before, though.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
One day.
Who's Anton Rogge? Never heard of him. He was pretty good, 17th.
17th.
Yeah.
No, never have I.
First person that I don't know that's in the results, so good result. First person with no team listed by their name, so
yeah.
Well, Connor Farron doesn't have a team either.
Yeah, but I know who he is. I've heard of him before. Fantasy points from round 4 in our Pink Bike Fantasy League. We had Dylan Paulson. Took quite a handy lead, actually, 765 points. Thin Lizzy, whoever that is, in second. And Evan Powell, Danger, in third there. So good result for Danger, back up in the top 5. I've just got to say congratulations to Ferg from the bike station for scoring 0 points. None of your riders made the finals, Ferg, so you might want to work on that for next round. I slipped in just ahead of Red Dog. I put about nearly 50 points into him, so that's pretty good.
Did you pick a team?
No, same team.
Neither did I.
Same team from last round. So we're all right there.
Well played.
Liam Jackson still leading the series. Thin 3 points over Thin Lizzy though, so it's getting pretty close. And then Dylan Paulson's actually right there in third. So Liam, you better buck up your ideas if you want to win this pack and save bib suit ex Tom Bradshaw. So
is that what's up for the prize still?
I think it might be because we haven't found anything better. So.
Do you want me to give it to you?
Maybe if you guys put some more orders in through troyleedesigns.co.nz OTB podcast at checkout, we might get some Troy Lee kit for a winner. Who knows?
And if you don't put an order through, one lucky listener who doesn't put an order through will get that horrific bib short.
You do not want that. There's been some bad places.
Best motivation I've ever heard it.
Also, last podcast, I asked if anyone knew what the outro song was to our podcast. And Connor Harvey, who I think is much like me and has watched too many old mountain bike movies, actually nailed it and got it right. It was the Maribor dual slalom section from Sprung 3.
Yes. Well played.
So that's going back in time right there. Connor's an old soul. He's younger than me and he's, he knows all this shit. So it's good. Good stuff there, Connor.
What does he get?
He gets my love.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is that a prize?
Nah.
I don't know if it's a prize. It's probably a curse.
Let's get Katie on the phone.
Something just a little bit of a tangent here, and late breaking Tour de France news. Luke Durber just tested positive for COVID-19 this morning.
Oh, I was going to say who's tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a bit of a bummer because he's been good on the breaks the last few days.
One of the UAE team, which they currently have the yellow jersey with Pogacar, tested positive the other day. So I was waiting for the rest of that team to crumble, which wouldn't be good because I know George Bennett on that team, cousin George. He's he hasn't had COVID, so he's probably like shitting bricks a little bit.
So they apparently after the last stage, so going into the rest day, they tested everybody and nobody had tested positive. But now that Durbo the Turbo has, who knows what else is out there.
How about the guy, his name escapes me, that won the last stage going into the rest day? Big effort out front. Won the stage. He tested positive like 4 days before the tour. Yeah. And then they managed to prove that he wasn't infectious so he could still race. And then he goes and wins stage 9.
Yeah. It's all epic.
It's fucked.
I think he's he was quite a way after him actually having it though, that he was still showing positive. So low viral load.
Snuck it in there.
Yeah.
There's our bit of TDF analysis for you guys. We spoke about it earlier, but it wasn't on the podcast. But I mean, Red Dog, big Tour de France fan. We're all in agreement that we think Pogacar is going to win. So it's probably, it's not really a hot take.
Pretty much a foregone.
I'm mountain bikes only. Like, I watched the XC. I watched the XC last night.
Yeah, I haven't got.
Did you watch the XC, Moki?
Nah, I haven't got there yet. I mean, I've been busy.
Controversial.
Controversial. I heard that there was some fines dished out afterwards and a bit of.
Nino got a bit of aggro.
Yeah, and so did one of the dude from the Union team.
Oh yeah, Ollie Davies got a fine for not listening to a commissaire's instructions or something, and I don't even think he's racing.
No, but
he's got a broken.
Isn't he part of
hand or something?
Still? Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
yeah, he's still part of the team, so I don't know what he was doing. But yeah, Nino. I think Nino got kind of taken out by Flukinger in the last wood section on the last lap.
Oh, is that right?
Where I mean, we all knew that Luca Brido was going to win anyway.
He did well to hold on there though.
So
sprinting Heatherley was pretty gnarly.
It was that was a very very exciting win for myself. Santa Cruz taking their first World Cup cross country win. That was pretty cool. I thought Maxime Moreau was going to win the opening round, but he got passed by Nino at the finish. So this was sweet redemption. With Luca taking the win, but that was a tight sprint with him and Alan Hatherley. Like it was a photo finish at the end.
Really?
So,
yeah, I need
good
to
race.
go back and watch that. That can be tomorrow night.
Yeah, good racing. Loana Lecomte just walked away with the women's win. She
does that a lot.
She smashes them.
Is she going to survive the season though, or is she still too?
She's taken the overall now.
Oh right.
She's been on the slow burn. So McConnell was like
McConnell burnt all her matches at the start of the season.
Mm.
Yeah,
and Lecomte. There was one point. It was quite funny because there was one point. There was the three of them out the front. I can't remember who the other two were with Lecomte, but one of them put a little bit of an attack on her up one of the climbs, and she just starts grinning. Like she's just sitting there smiling. She's just like, yeah, go on. Like, let's see it happen.
Risved's.
Yeah, Risved's put a bit of an attack on her, and she just starts grinning like, yeah, okay.
Speaking of Risved's, I watched the short track, and it was quite interesting seeing some of the different bike setup that some of them are running in terms of their fit now. Like Risved's, her bike looks too short for her. Like she's got a short.
Real little,
yeah, and there was a couple of the men as well, which were quite short. And I just thought, surely when they're descending, it feels like they're going to go out the front door.
But, I don't know, because I do see that. I think maybe they're just, I don't know, used to a traditional fit or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a
like
traditional fit. It's quite they're sitting very upright.
Real upright, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Risved's is the prime example of it. Like she's
very, very upright.
Straight upright. And it looks like even in an upright seated position, her knees are like right up in her bars. It's bizarre.
Has there been any more XC Eliminator rounds on? Anything good? Any more rock climbing walls or anything they've been riding over, or is that kind of just a one and done this year?
Don't know what's going on.
I haven't heard anything.
Shit, the rock climbing walls, that's so good.
Let's
next one's Snake Pit.
Snake Pit, and you gotta ride across a skinny across an alligator pit as well.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Andorra. This is going sideways. Let's quickly talk about Andorra. I mean, I raced there a couple of times. I raced there in 2007 and 2008, but we're now onto the third different track in the area this year. So they've actually moved away from the one they've raced recently, the steep one that went down into the village, gone up to, I think, which is the highest peak in the area. So there's definitely been some videos and stuff out of the track. It looks reasonably long, but it looks a little bit meh to me. It'll be interesting to see how it shapes up for the World Cup, though. It's pretty fast, pretty open. It's going to be, the weather looks real hot and dry all week, so the track's going to be fucking dusty and rough and loose, which will probably be good.
So that's interesting, because the tour is going to Andorra maybe tomorrow as well.
Oh, wow.
So it's just going to be busy old time in Andorra.
Crossing paths.
Yeah.
When the tour came to Morsing, they towed our van.
Were you in it asleep?
Nah, we used to just park our van out on the street while we were in Morzine, and then one day we went out and it wasn't there, and I was and I was like, "Fuck's sakes, Becca, where'd you park the van?" He's like, "No, I swear it was right here, man. It was here, and we're allowed to park it here." And so we chased around like the tour logistics guys or whatever. None of them speak English, and we're just heathens. We can't speak anything but English. And we eventually talked to someone who was like semi in charge, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we just towed it and dumped it in a car park out of town."
That's so
And we're
funny.
like, "Great, which one?" "Oh yeah, nah, it's just down the road." Like, and it was where all the Kiwis were staying, so they just towed our van and dumped it with all the other shitters that the Kiwis were living out of down there by the river.
Is this the same year that Joe Nation was living in like a bivouac on the other side of the river?
Yeah, they did have to. Yeah. I think him and
Rufus
were over there.
They had like a makeshift camp set up on the side of the river, like just pretty much living in like a bivvy.
He's got the best stories, from those days, man.
He has had some incredible times over there. So anyway, we don't really have much to report on in Andorra because we don't have Horseline, who I thought might give us some insights. My favourite highlight from Andorra was when his name escapes me. He runs the Ibis Enduro team now. Robin Warner's brakes shit themselves, and he couldn't stop coming into the keyhole at the finish, and he destroyed one of the cameramen in the keyhole. Like, put him in hospital kind of thing. Whoa. It was a brutal takeout. I'll find it and I'll put it on the social this week because it was huge. That was 2008 or 9, I think it was. Actually, I made a race there 3 times. Another Andorra memory was Nathan Rankin breaking his collarbone after trying to do a backflip off a wall at the after party. Another Kiwi at that same party was arrested and tried to run in handcuffs and was taken down consequently, and was taken into custody for the night. There's some memories from Andorra.
Do you remember when Hill crashed into the snow?
Yes. Off that fadeaway.
Yeah, he got loose off the fadeaway and peeled out into like a snowdrift.
Yeah. I do remember
I don't think I saw that.
That was up near the top when it was still kind of off the side of the ski piste, and you just faded away off the side of the ski piste down a bank basically, and he was just going way too deep, and then he kind of cocked it up and ended up in the snow on the side of it. It's been some interesting races in Andorra. It's cool. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's good they've gone to a new track.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Same venue, same town, but cool. They've gone to a new track, so it's good. Good that they're keeping it different because I guess they've been at that other one for a few years now. So yeah, good to have something new.
The track looks like a flatter Lenzerheide.
It reminds me of a little bit of the old, the original Vallnord Andorra track.
Yeah, it is more like that.
Yeah, not as steep for sure. The old one was pretty steep. So, the second one. So that'll be good.
So are we all in agreement? Gwynell probably top 5 here.
He wasn't in my predictions.
If you turn the results sheet upside down and read it that way, I would agree.
Is that going to be when those Kenders get a flat tyre again?
I was actually funny you say that because I was watching his run and I was like, surely he's not running those Kenders at the moment. He actually looks like he's going good.
Probably not. I've heard because when they were on Onza, another fucking off-brand tyre, I don't even think they ended up running Onza by the end of the season. But I think Gwyn was running whatever he wanted, and I think the other guys on the team were still being forced to run Onza.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think I should message him on the gram? Just say, I believe in you, Gwyn.
Maybe that's what he needs.
Riding on this.
Do that and just screenshot it and then post it on the OTB page.
Do you think he'll reply?
Probably maybe. Not. Maybe he'll just leave you on scene.
Yeah.
At least then we can give him stick for leaving
tell
him
him
scene.
You could tell him the guy that has bet against him is the guy that put it to him in 2008 at the.
No, but he didn't remember.
Hey, I've still got the trophy. I took that national win. I don't care if he remembers or not. Angel Fire national round 2008.
They said it was someone else.
No,
I didn't remember
it's
it
just
yet.
what he heard on the microphone. But that's fine.
Nice.
I've got the trophy.
Listen to it.
Is it like the other trophy that you have that's broken?
No, that's just Nathan Sherritt's one that I'm holding on to for him. So, have we got any predictions for this round? I mean, Rachel Atherton's been pretty dominant. If you look through the previous results, there's a lot of her name in there.
If she turns up, I'm going to say that she's probably going to be 5th. If she turns up.
It's funny because you actually go back 2019. That might have been one of her last World Cup wins at Andorra. And then previous to that, the only other person, current 2018 was Tani Seagrave, and 2017 was Miriam. I mean, it's hard to not bet. I mean, it's hard to bet against Miriam or Cami. Kind of flip a coin, but I'm going to go Miriam. It's Andorra, home of Commensale. That's my pick for the women's.
I'm going to go Miriam, probably Cami, and I tell you what, Rachel's third.
Third.
Maybe she's found magic.
She's going to do some more.
She knows she can do it now.
I think
she'd only do 3 or something.
I reckon she'll be podium. That's just my pick. And Pompon for the win again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's building some steam, I think.
It'll be pretty cool to see her on the podium. Well, the men's. What do you reckon, Red Dog? What you got in there?
Piron is hard to... You can't leave him out of your top 3.
Nah.
You'd be insane.
Here on top 3, Finn Isles will crash because he's had a small taste, but he'll go too hard and crash.
He's going to go looking for that 1.4 seconds, you reckon?
Yeah. I reckon.
Benoit, he's in my top 3.
Yeah.
And I'll go... I'll back Finn Isles. He's going to make it. He will make it.
I reckon Matt Walker.
Which one?
English
New Zealand Matt Walker?
No.
I'd
love for him to be on the podium, but just unfortunately can't quite see it.
At an EWS he would. But
I'd back him for an EWS, no doubt.
I don't think Matt Walker cares about downhill racing too much at this point.
What did he say on the gram the other day? It was like it was the 5th time he'd ridden his downhill bike.
Yeah. That was after not qualifying. It was the first time he'd ridden it not at a race. So
yeah,
I think he's found a good home in enduro. I'm looking at the previous results, 2019, and they really don't tell me anything. But I mean, you'd be an idiot to bet against Piron. I do like the Benoit from accounts in the top 3 as well, and I'm going to put Manar back in the top 3 as well.
Yeah, I reckon Manar will be up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I don't think he'll be in the top 3, top 5 for me.
Yeah, see, I think I feel like Thibaut Deprella could probably be back in that top 5 as well.
Yeah, I reckon Thibaut Umbrella will be...
Just call him Thibaut Umbrella.
Do you not call him that?
I do now.
That's his English name. Deprella's the French.
Yeah, I think he'll be close to the top 5 for sure.
Is Deprella French for umbrella?
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is.
What about Kolb though? Can he slide back in?
Oh, absolutely. I could see him being top 3. I could see him taking 1.
Ooh.
Wow. Bold prediction.
Red Dog.
No, I think he's probably settled in. Top 5 is probably his peak this season.
His ceiling.
How many people have we crammed in the top 5 so far? About 10?
Yeah.
Don't forget Gwyn too.
Rennie's got to have Gwyn on the top 5, so otherwise
true.
he owes me double beers. I've just made that rule up.
I'm going to message him and just tell him good luck.
So I believe
Please
in
do.
you.
Can you please just send him a message that says, good luck, I believe in you?
Good luck in Enduro. I believe in you.
Oh, please do. And then I want
Imagine
to
though
post
if
a
he goes
screenshot
and
of it
gets,
on the
gets the
social.
W though, what's going to happen then?
Yeah,
Red
right.
Dog would get on
He's
the
like,
team.
fuck, this dude Red Dog. Tim Ferry believes in
He
me.
believes in me.
Oh, man. Well,
That would be gold.
I don't know. Our predictions have gone sideways, as this show always does. I don't really have anything else to add. Anything else from you guys?
Nah,
Hang on.
I got nothing.
Anything else in your notes, Red Dog? You don't have any notes there.
We never talked about Loris. He was a bit of a disappointment as
Yeah,
well.
he
He's
was.
just-
Actually, that's an interesting point you raised. Yeah, you go.
It's funny because we say he's a disappointment in 8th place, and he also had the fastest Sector 4.
No, that was in the qualifying.
Oh, that's qualifying.
I've got to say,
I don't know.
has anyone
looked a
had...
bit-
There were some good finishes aboard that track early in the piece when they first released it.
Mm.
And then everyone else has done... That bike was last season, wasn't it? They brought that out. What's happened, though? Like, no, I mean, Reece Wilson, yes, he's had some issues, but even when he wasn't having issues, he wasn't right at the pointy end on that bike, was he?
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? They did slightly change it, or they have slightly changed
Oh,
it,
what happened to Cade?
but it's only a light change.
What's that?
Where was Cade Edwards in this race?
Cade crashed, and practice, and I think he was injured.
Oh.
Yeah, didn't Cade... Yeah, was it practice this round he crashed and got hurt, I think.
Yeah, it was in practice, like one of the first runs.
Yeah, it was like first day of practice he hurt himself. So he was out.
Suicide. Sui going wrong somewhere.
Yeah.
He did crash from like the Vital Raw. He crashed pretty hard.
Yeah.
It was that.
Didn't watch that. Interesting.
So, yeah.
And the only other thing in my notes, and this is up for you guys to decide, Rob on the broadcast said the Intense was beautiful looking.
No.
It looks something
I
like...
don't even want to discuss it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Paint it red and make the front monocoque. Are we getting closer?
I just can't...
It's very industrial.
I don't like how they've kind of got that big scalloped out piece in it. Doesn't just...
It's such a big scoop. It's just a big old scoop under there. Yeah, I'm not there. It seems like it's working pretty well, but it's not beautiful. I was happy that Elliot was back in the booth though. Elliot's good.
I don't have a huge problem with Claudio, but man, Elliot adds so much more.
He brings so much more insight to the track and to the riders, and yeah.
And do you notice that Rob has to say far less?
Yeah. He doesn't have to guide him or anything.
Yeah.
Like Elliot's just got all these really good track insights, and he talks to the riders and gets all this good knowledge. So big
I
fan.
understand that it's some of the stuff that he picks up on, like real minuscule details that he picks up on. I'm just like, wow.
He's always been a real analytical dude, though, when he was racing as well. He was a dude that could really pick apart his whole program, and like he knew how to kind of analyze it. And I mean, you look at that website, was it Go Reggie or whatever that he was doing for a bit, where you could break down all the World Cup results and everything. Like he's a very analytical dude, so he's good on that side.
It'll be a shame if the broadcast doesn't retain him.
Apparently, Warner won't be on there.
Yeah,
I think you
Warner
brought that
won't
up
be,
last show, didn't you? So
I was wondering if maybe Elliot would be, because he kind of fits he can be quite a clean cut kind of dude if he wants to be.
He's certainly the analyst.
Yeah,
he's not really the color guy though.
Play-by-plays.
Yeah, need someone more animated like Rob is for the play-by-play. Someone that gets the excitement and the hype.
You'd have him and somebody else. Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know who it would be, but
be interesting.
Interesting times.
Anyway, so when I text Grin, I'll tell you, do I tell him that the bike looks ugly too? Or is that?
Maybe don't tell him that.
Don't want him to get butthurt.
Just send him the I believe in you message, please.
We don't want it. We just want one clean message, not muddying it with talk about his bike.
Okay, yeah. No, it might be detracting from the...
Maybe you could do the bit where you cut him off at the knees, but then you build him back up. Like, tell him his bike looks horrific, but then tell him that you believe in him and that you think he can still podium.
Yeah, that could work.
Or you could wait.
Yeah.
If he doesn't podium, just blame the bike. You message him back, be like, bro, must have been the bike. Look at that thing.
Must have been the bike.
It looks like it was welded in 1995 in a shed in Hamilton.
They got Trevor Porter over there.
Yeah.
Wasn't Trevor Porter just a steel guy?
Yeah,
it's not
great.
Aluminium guy?
No, wouldn't have been.
Nah. Alloys for suckers. You got to heat treat it.
True that.
Right.
Okay.
That's enough shit chat for tonight.
Terrible once again.
Andorra this week. No doubt you'll probably be seeing this. What day is it today? It's a Tuesday. This will probably be out on Thursday, so we'll be into the race by then. And I guess we'll see you next week for a review.
Troy Lee Designs.
.co.nz, OTB podcast at checkout.
The next episode will be from KB's Troy Lee funded hot tub.
Can't wait. Are they flying me down for that?
You guys,
yeah, they're paying for your flights.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, I'll book them and I'll just send you the receipt, KB.
Yeah, sounds good. Send it to accounts@otbpodcast.com.
Yep, sweet.
Yep.
Benoit will get onto it instantly, I'm sure.
Yeah, Benoit does a good job.
Once he finishes up at Andorra.
Good man.
All right, we'll see you next week.
What's up? I come from the land of down on the I can't hear you. What was that? I can't hear you. I let it be like John Lennon, the anti-serum that you don't get for poisonous venom. Read the label carefully, I'm only here for the show. I love hip-hop too much to let you feed my ego. In the key of F-U-C-K, Y-O-U. I mean, why do I owe you if you're not helping me through? I mean, why do I owe you if you're obstructing my view? Success is not my castle, just a house that's brand new. You see, I irrigate the culture, give it shape like a sculpture. Still complicated, drop like I'm supposed to. B-L-I-T-Z like my DJ. Rock to the rhythm like you rock to what he plays.